All right, so it's happening. You've got that police interview coming up.
You ready?
And let me tell you, this deep dive is going to be your secret weapon. We're about to break down exactly what they're looking for so you can walk in there with confidence and show them you're the one to hire.
It's like having a backstage pass to the selection process.
Exactly. We're taking all the guesswork out of it. Now for this deep dive. We're turning to a YouTube video by How to Become. They've been training people for police recruitment for 20 years, so they know their stuff. The video is called Police Competency-Based Interview Questions, and it features an expert, Joshua Brown. He gives some incredible insider tips that, honestly, I wish I'd known earlier.
One of the biggest myths he busts is that you need to be an expert on every single skill and quality under the sun.
Right, because who has time for that?
Exactly. Joshua Brown breaks down how police interviews actually work. They focus on very specific core values and competencies. So instead of trying to prepare for everything, you can laser focus your preparation.
That's a huge relief, honestly. It feels way more manageable already. So let's get into it. What are these core values they're looking for?
Well, he highlights 3: integrity, public service, and transparency.
Okay, those sound pretty straightforward, but I'm guessing there's more to them than meets the eye, especially in the context of police work.
You're absolutely right. Take integrity, for example. It's not just about being honest, it's about consistently doing the right thing, even when nobody's watching, even under immense pressure.
Wow.
Think about it. You're going to be in situations where you need to make split-second decisions, and your integrity will be tested at every turn.
That's a great point. It's easy to talk about integrity in a vacuum, but out there in the field, it's a whole different ballgame.
Exactly. And this links directly to public service, the next core value. Everything you do as an officer, every decision, every action, has to be driven by a desire to serve and protect the community. You're literally putting your life on the line for the public, and they need to know they can trust you to always act in their best interests.
So it's not just a job, it's a way of life. Integrity in your actions and always prioritizing the needs of the public.
Precisely. Now, transparency, the third core value, ties into all of this beautifully. It's about being open and accountable for your actions, building trust with the community. If there's a lack of transparency, people start questioning motives, and that can be incredibly damaging to the relationship between law enforcement and the people they're sworn to protect.
It makes you realize these values are so interconnected you can't really have one without the others.
Exactly. And that's why they're so fundamental to being a good police officer. They want to see that these values are part of your DNA, not just something you're putting on for the interview.
It's not just about saying the right words, it's about living those values every single day. But it's not just about values, right? What about these competencies they mentioned?
Right. Competencies are the specific skills and abilities that translate those values into action. The video focuses on 2: taking ownership and being innovative and open-minded. Now, taking ownership is especially crucial in a high-pressure environment like policing.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Imagine this. You're at a crime scene, things are chaotic, decisions need to be made quickly.
Oh, yeah.
That's where taking ownership becomes absolutely critical. It's about taking responsibility for your actions, even when things go wrong. And it's about being proactive, stepping up to solve problems, and making those tough calls.
So it's not just about admitting mistakes, it's about having that leadership quality, even if you're not officially in charge.
Exactly. You're showing them you can handle pressure, think on your feet, and make things happen. Now let's talk about being innovative and open-minded. Policing isn't just about following procedures blindly. It's about constantly looking for ways to improve, to do things better, to find new solutions to complex challenges.
So being a good cop means being willing to challenge the status quo. I like that.
Absolutely. They want to see that you're not afraid to question things, to think outside the box, to bring new ideas to the table. It's about having that growth mindset, always striving to learn and adapt.
Okay, so we've got our core values: integrity, public service, and transparency, and our key competencies: taking ownership and being innovative and open-minded. Now, how do we actually demonstrate all of this in the interview?
That's where Joshua Brown introduces what he calls the STAR method.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's a total game changer.
I'm all ears. Tell me everything.
It stands for situation, task, action, result. It's a way of structuring your answers to highlight your skills and experience in a way that really resonates with interviewers.
So instead of just giving vague answers, we're telling a story, a compelling narrative that showcases our abilities. I like it.
Exactly. And it keeps you on track, ensuring you cover all the key points without rambling. The video actually walks us through a sample question and a brilliant answer, using the STAR method.
Okay, let's see the STAR method in action. What's the question?
The question is, tell us about a time when you had to take responsibility for solving a difficult problem. Now, before we dive into the answer, I'm curious, what value or competency do you think this question is primarily targeting?
Hmm. Well, solving a difficult problem sounds like it's really getting at that taking ownership competency. It's all about stepping up and finding solutions, right, Will?
Got it. That's the primary focus. But here's a pro tip from Joshua Brown. Even if the question is about one specific competency, try to weave in examples of other values and competencies as well.
So it's like we're hitting multiple targets with one arrow.
Exactly. It shows a deeper understanding of the qualities they're looking for. Now, let's break down how the sample answer uses the STAR method so effectively. Are you ready to dissect it?
Absolutely. Let's see how it all comes together.
The answer starts by setting the scene.
Hmm.
In my previous role as a project coordinator, we were nearing the deadline on a key project when we discovered a significant, potentially costly error in our data analysis.
Okay, so right off the bat, we've got a high-pressure situation, a real problem that needs to be solved. It sounds like a scene straight out of a movie.
Right. And notice how they subtly emphasize their responsibility
Mhm.
by mentioning their role as project coordinator.
Subtle, but effective. They're showing they were in a position of authority, even if it wasn't explicitly stated.
Exactly. Next, they outline the task. As the lead on this project, it was my responsibility to resolve the issue swiftly, to ensure we met the deadline, without compromising the quality of our work.
They've clearly established what needed to be done, fix the error, meet the deadline, maintain quality, talk about pressure. So what did they do?
Here's the action part, and this is where it gets really interesting. I immediately gathered a small team of the most skilled analysts to reassess our data. I facilitated a brainstorming session to identify the source of the error quickly, and we worked extended hours. I coordinated closely with the IT department to implement a more robust software solution that prevented similar issues in the future.
Wow, they didn't just fix the problem, they went above and beyond to prevent it from happening again. That's that being innovative part in action.
You nailed it. They showed initiative, leadership, problem-solving skills, and even a bit of that tech savviness. And finally, they wrap it up with the result. Thanks to our collective efforts, the error was corrected within 24 hours, and the project was delivered on time. Our solution not only resolved the issue, but also improved our overall data processing capabilities, which increased the efficiency of subsequent projects. This experience taught me the importance of quick decision-making and collaboration in crisis management.
So they turned a crisis into an opportunity for improvement. That's impressive. And they made sure to connect their experience back to the skills needed in law enforcement, quick decision-making, and teamwork under pressure.
It's a brilliant example of how to use the STAR method to tell a compelling story that showcases your abilities. But remember, this is just one example. Joshua Brown provides a whole bunch of sample questions and answers in his PDF guide, which you can find on his website, howtobecome.com.
I'm definitely checking that out. So we've covered a lot of ground already, but I have a feeling this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's still so much more to uncover.
You're absolutely right. We've only scratched the surface of how to ace these interviews. Let's dive even deeper into some more examples, shall we? Ready to unpack another sample question. This one really gets to the heart of what it takes to be a police officer.
I'm all in. The more we practice, the more confident I'll feel going into that interview. What's next?
Here it is. Describe a situation when you intervened in a difficult situation and took ownership for solving the problem.
Okay, this one feels especially relevant to police work. They're not just looking for someone who can follow orders. They want someone who can assess a situation and take charge when needed.
Exactly. This question goes beyond just intervening. It's about demonstrating leadership, problem-solving skills, and that ability to stay calm under pressure.
Okay, I'm ready to see how the STAR method tackles this one.
The top-scoring answer starts like this. While volunteering at a local community center, I noticed a heated argument escalating between two teenagers. It was clear that things were getting out of control, and other volunteers seemed hesitant to get involved.
So right away, we have a situation that requires quick thinking and decisive action. There's that element of conflict resolution that's so crucial in policing.
And they've already subtly highlighted that taking ownership competency. By stepping up when others held back, it's about taking initiative, not waiting for someone else to handle it.
It's that proactive mindset they're looking for. Okay, so what did they do?
Here's the task. I felt a responsibility to intervene before the situation escalated further, potentially leading to violence or harm. They're establishing their motivation. and that sense of duty to protect.
It's more than just breaking up a fight. It's about preventing harm and de-escalating a potentially dangerous situation. Very relevant to police work.
Right. Now, for the action. I calmly approached the teenagers, using non-threatening body language and a reassuring tone of voice. I separated them, creating physical space, and giving them a chance to cool down. I actively listened to both sides, allowing each teenager to express their frustrations without interruption.
Those are all classic de-escalation techniques. Creating space, active listening, maintaining a calm demeanor. They're demonstrating those core communication skills that are so essential for a police officer.
Exactly. They're not just reacting, they're strategically responding to the situation, with the goal of achieving a peaceful resolution.
So what was the result of this intervention?
Here's the powerful conclusion. After talking through the issue, the teenagers realized the argument was based on a misunderstanding. They apologized to each other, shook hands, and the situation was resolved without further incident. The experience reinforced my belief in the power of communication and conflict resolution. It also solidified my desire to pursue a career where I can make a positive difference in the community.
That's a fantastic example of how to turn a challenging situation into a learning experience and connect it back to their aspirations of becoming a police officer. It really showcases their character and their commitment to public service.
And notice how they didn't just stop at resolving the conflict. They highlighted the positive outcome and the lessons learned. They've shown they can handle pressure, think on their feet, and ultimately make a positive impact.
I'm starting to see how these seemingly simple examples can actually reveal so much about a candidate's abilities and their potential as a police officer. It's all about connecting the dots and telling the right story.
Precisely. Shall we explore another example?
Bring it on. I'm ready to tackle the next challenge.
All right, let's shift gears a bit. This next question focuses on a competency we haven't discussed in depth yet. Give an example of a time when you had to take on board feedback to improve your performance.
This one resonates with me. I think being able to accept constructive criticism is so crucial in any profession, but especially in law enforcement, where you're constantly learning and evolving.
Absolutely. This question is all about showing humility, that willingness to learn and grow, and that ability to use feedback to become even better.
So it's not just about taking orders, it's about being open to different perspectives and actively seeking ways to improve.
Exactly. Let's hear how a top-scoring candidate used the STAR method to address this question. The answer begins by setting the stage. During my time as a lifeguard, I was responsible for enforcing safety rules and responding to emergencies. During a training exercise, my supervisor noticed I was hesitant to jump into the deep end of the pool during a simulated rescue scenario.
Okay, so they're acknowledging a potential weakness or area where they could improve. It takes courage to admit that, especially in an interview setting.
It does. It shows self-awareness and a willingness to be vulnerable.
So how did they handle this feedback?
Here's the task. My supervisor explained that my hesitation could cost valuable seconds in a real-life emergency and urged me to overcome my fear of deep water to be a more effective lifeguard.
They've clearly outlined the challenge and the importance of addressing it. The stakes are high. People's lives could be at risk.
Exactly. Now for the action. I took my supervisor's feedback seriously. I knew I had to confront my fear to be the best lifeguard I could be. I started by spending extra time in the shallow end of the pool, gradually venturing into deeper water as I gained confidence. I also sought guidance from more experienced lifeguards, asking them to share tips on deep water rescue techniques.
Wow. They didn't just acknowledge the feedback, they took concrete steps to address it. They're demonstrating that proactive mindset, that willingness to go the extra mile to improve.
They're showing they're not just willing to learn, but they're actively seeking out opportunities to grow. And remember, they're connecting these actions back to those core values and competencies.
So did their hard work pay off? Did they overcome their fear?
Let's hear the result. Through consistent practice and guidance, I eventually conquered my fear of deep water. During the next training exercise, I competently executed the deep water rescue scenario, earning praise from my supervisor. The experience taught me the importance of facing my fears, embracing feedback, and continuously striving to improve my skills.
That's a powerful transformation. They turned a weakness into a strength, and they connected it back to those core values of taking ownership and being open-minded.
It's a fantastic example of how to use the STAR method to showcase your growth mindset and your ability to learn from your experiences.
These examples are so helpful. They're giving me a much clearer picture of what they're looking for and how to structure my own answers.
Remember, It's all about telling a story, highlighting your skills and experience in a way that directly aligns with those core values and competencies.
But I have a feeling there's even more to uncover, right?
You're right. We've just scratched the surface of what it takes to ace these interviews. Let's dive into some more examples and really solidify your understanding.
You know, it's amazing how these seemingly simple interview questions can actually reveal so much about a candidate's character and their potential as a police officer.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. Each answer gives us a deeper glimpse into their values, their motivations, their ability to handle real-world challenges.
And it's not just about having the right answers. It's about the way they tell their story, the passion and conviction they bring to the table.
Absolutely. Remember those core values we talked about: integrity, public service, and transparency. They should shine through in every single answer, not as empty words, but as lived experiences that have shaped who they are.
It's about demonstrating that they're not just looking for a job, they're answering a calling. They genuinely want to serve and protect their community.
Exactly. And when you combine that genuine desire to serve with those key competencies, taking ownership and being innovative and open-minded, you've got a recipe for a truly exceptional police officer.
Someone who can handle pressure, make tough decisions, and constantly strive to improve. They're not just reacting to situations, they're actively shaping them, making their community a safer and better place.
That's what it's all about. Now remember, this deep dive is just the beginning of your journey. Joshua Brown's YouTube video and his PDF guide on howtobecome.com are incredible resources that can take your preparation to the next level.
I can't recommend them enough. They're packed with even more sample questions, answers, and expert insights. That will give you that extra edge.
And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you practice using the STAR method and tailor your answers to those core values and competencies, the more confident and polished you'll become.
It's like training for a marathon. You wouldn't just show up on race day without putting in the miles, would you? The same goes for this interview. Prepare, practice, and believe in yourself.
You got this. We're cheering you on every step of the way.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful, and I hope it's given you the knowledge, the tools, and the confidence you need to ace your police interview.
Remember, it's not just about getting the job. It's about embarking on a fulfilling career where you can make a real difference in the world.
So go out there, shine bright, and show them what you're made of. And until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deeper.